Hey, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Nick from Nick Photography. I'm a wedding and portrait photographer from Nova Scotia, Canada. You can find me online at nickdollamount.com, and you could also find me on Facebook and Instagram if you'd like to pop over and give those a like and follow. I'll drop those links in the description box below. So for my first video, I figured I'd walk through my workflow for culling and processing images from a shoot. Certainly not the most exciting thing around, but if you're able to learn one thing, that's a win. So let's get started. Minimize that. So the first thing you would do, of course, is to copy your images onto your computer from your camera. I've already done this. So I'm just going to hop into the next section, which is to help organize. I rename the folders to the date, and then a hyphen and a description of maybe the client's name or the event. That just makes it a whole lot easier when I'm looking back through photos. And next part is I actually use Adobe Bridge. A lot of people use Lightroom. I don't really like it. It has all the same features as Camera Raw, which is what I'll be using in here. But I find Bridge just a whole lot simpler, and I don't actually have to do any import, so I can browse to the folder directly. So I have a folder here with a bunch of example photos. I just took these the other day with a friend of mine while we were messing around with some Philips Hue light bulbs. It turned out pretty cool. I definitely suggest trying that. So the first thing we're going to do, so you can see that there's a whole bunch of pictures, and which is usually the case, especially at something like a wedding. There's going to be a ton more probably, so this is only 279. I've shot weddings and got up to 1,500 plus images, right? So starting out, I'll start at the beginning, and basically I'm just going to go through pretty quickly and pick out some decent shots that are composed well and the lighting is relatively good. So some of these, and these are pretty similar, but I do like them. I'm just using the arrow keys on my keyboard to go left and right. And then to mark one, I'm going to mark it as approved, and I just use the number 8 key on my number pad, and that marks it. So these here are pretty similar, but slightly different look on his face. So I'm going to mark these 3 off. Coming through. So you can see I can just go through these pretty quickly and mark off any that I like. Okay, so I'm not going to bore you with that. I've actually already have a folder that are already marked off. But before I jump into that, so basically what you would do once you have them all marked off, you can see over here the filter tab. As soon as you add one that's approved, you can now filter it by the label. And if you click there, it's going to cut it down really small, or well, depending how many you have checked off. So in this case, these 5 pictures show up, and then I can start doing my editing. So I'm just going to double click this, and since it's a raw file, it's going to open up in Camera Raw, and you have all your adjustments here, and like I said, it's all the same adjustments that you would get in Lightroom. Your white balance, I'm not going to go through this is the tutorial on editing. So do your edits, and one really cool thing about Bridge is, so these 3 images here are all very similar, same lighting. So what you can do is once you have your edits on one of them, let me just do something quickly right here. So I have this one edited, and these are almost identical in lighting. So I'm going to right click, go to develop settings and copy settings. Then I can click this guy, hold shift or control to select the other one, right click on it, develop settings, and paste. So click OK, and then all of a sudden these two have the same edited settings. Just something to make things go a little easier. Okay, so let's just say I've gone through them all and marked off some of them that I like, and I've finished all my edits, and this is what I'm left with. Okay, so I'm going to click the first one and do Control A to select all, and then I'm going to go to Tools, Photoshop, and Image Processor. So this brings up the image processor dialog, which lets you do an export of all the images that you have selected. What I really like about this is the resize option. So I can have it resize all the images to a standard that I want them put out for, and it'll be a maximum of either the width or the height, whichever one is longer. Longer edge of 2048 pixels is, I believe, what's recommended for posting to Facebook to get the best quality. So I'm going to stick with that. Image quality for JPEG, it's on 10, but generally if I'm giving them to a customer, it's going to be 12, so 12 is the max. So that'll be the absolute best quality. You do have some options down here to run custom actions within Photoshop if you have any, which is actually really awesome feature. So if you do have a certain action that you do apply to all your images, you don't have to open them up in Photoshop and go through the process of running the action, saving the image, running the action, saving the image. This will do it for you. So I'm just going to click on this one just as an example, and we'll do increase contrast on all of these. And just click run, and then it's going to launch Photoshop and start processing them. So this shouldn't take too long. There's only 6 images here. So opens them up one at a time, applies the action, and then saves it as a JPEG in a JPEG folder at the subfolder of where your actual or original images were stored. And that is done. So I'm going to hop in here, which is number 2. So then we have our JPEG folder, and here's all the exported images. So you can open these up. It's a little dark, but that does not matter for this example. Okay. And that's them. If you view the file info here, does it show? Yeah, you'll see the longer edge is the 2048 pixels. And that's pretty much it for that. Once you have them all exported, of course, you can bring them back into Photoshop, any individual ones that you want to do any more editing to. Say you wanted to do some dodging and burning of sorts, and you could do that fairly easily. Throw in some highlights here, highlights. If you're going to fix somebody's eyes or anything like that, make them a little brighter, whatnot. Anyways, that's pretty much it, and I hope you learned something. If not, well, thanks for watching, and hopefully see you in my next video. Bye.